Well, let's go ahead and turn over to the NFL with a check-in on our favorite Bold City Barnfire. That's right, folks. The Jacksonville Jaguars made some moves this weekend and week, none of them in the interest of winning football games. Sunday, disgruntled pass rusher Yannick Ngakoue finally found his freedom, being traded to the Minnesota Vikings for a second and conditional fifth-round pick in 2021. Ngakoue took a $6 million pay cut on a fully guaranteed contract to skip town. The next day, the Jaguars decided to add on to the Tank Fest, randomly releasing former fourth overall pick running back Leonard Fournette. There was seemingly no reason at the time, and although an AP report has cast a little light on the situation, still looks questionable. So, Jay, with the moves this week, which loss was more impactful to their Trevor Lawrence tankathon?
Well, I think the loss of both guys is gonna, have a significant impact on their ability to win football games, which probably next to zero at this time. I think they're taking the preseason Miami Dolphin torch from last season. As far as who's the bigger loss, I mean, in a lot of ways, I'd say Leonard Fournette, especially when you consider that we knew Yannick Ngakoue one way or the other was going to be out of there. He made it pretty abundantly clear in this offseason that he had no intention in being around long term, had not signed his franchise tender the entire period since he was tagged back in March, I believe it was. And so that's something that we could all see coming. But Leonard Fournette, we did not see this coming. And now you look, it's one of those situations where you look at that offense, and this is a team that's going with a sixth-round quarterback from last season who showed some promise. We have to give that much amount of credit to him. I'm not going to go too far into that, but I'm just curious as to what Jacksonville is doing. And we've went into some of the issues that they have structurally and some of the fining of players, which was a Tom Coughlin thing, and Tom Coughlin's out of there. But everybody else below him still has a job. Dave Caldwell still has his job as general manager. Doug Marrone is still the head coach. And oh, by the way, I just find it interesting that you would remove your most productive offensive player. But now we're bringing in these retread head coaches that are now on your offensive staff. So you got Doug Marrone, Jay Gruden, and Ben McAdoo. I mean, I don't know what team in their right mind would load up on coaches and get rid of players. It's just ludicrous to me. And oh, by the way, I will go back to this point that I made when Jay Gruden was a head coach with the Washington Redskins, because you know how I felt about him when he made that idiotic statement where, oh yeah, I'm not high on Dwayne Haskins because he don't fit my system. You know what, Jay Gruden, bump your system, because that's the same thing we talk about Leonard Fournette. Oh, I want to run the West Coast system, and Leonard Fournette, he's a power running back. Okay, Jay. All right, so and Jacksonville, like, all right, yeah. We'll get Fournette out of here, and we'll go with Chris Thompson and Raekwon Armstead and what other Madden creative player they have playing down there. I don't know.
Divine Ogzibo, I think, is from Nebraska.
Yeah. Somebody's divine wisdom making all these ridiculous decisions. This is just one of those. When you go back to the fining issue that we talked about, where the NFL Players Association actually came out and said, "Hey, do not go to Jacksonville. Don't go." And oh, by the way, I don't think many people went down there. They had to pay a fortune to get old Joe Schobert down there. And I guess he might do some things for you. But by and large, think about the mass exodus that has taken place in recent history. Just in the last season, Jalen Ramsey, we got him out there faking injuries, and he leaves. A.J. Boye traded in the offseason. Now you don't have Yannick Ngakoue. Telvin Smith, he's – whatever happened to him, I still don't think we really know what happened to him. And now Leonard Fournette, who a guy, when you look at him, not only think of it, you invested a fourth overall pick, and we gotta give the guy some credit. I know that 2018 season is a black eye, but in 2017 he was a centerpiece of your offense that helped get you to an AFC Championship game, and then last season 2019. He had a career year. He ran for about 1,150 yards. He caught 76 passes. Since he entered the league in 2017, he's fifth in scrimmage yards per game. And then we have this, as you alluded to in the opening, Mark Long of the Associated Press talking about players got tired of Leonard Fournette and it was almost a kind of a player revolt that was going on. So now, and we know the front office has, they've been dangling them in trade offers. We know that I just told you that Jay Gruden and his system, he don't fit his system. I don't know why it has to be Jay Gruden's system, because you got Doug Marrone and Ben McAdoo there as well. Could they have an idea? Could they get onto this action? I guess not. But he don't fit the system. And now, the best part, the players don't want Leonard Fournette. I just told you all the players that they don't have anymore. What players have any clout or any cachet that they could come up to somebody and be like, yeah, we don't want Leonard Fournette. He's not helping us out. This isn't the Baltimore Ravens, where this is an established bunch of dudes that have other winning talent on their team that will be just fine with no Earl Thomas. No Leonard Fournette, in my estimation. There is no reason to watch the Jacksonville Jaguars this season as far as I'm concerned, unless you want to see Gardner Minshew and the mustache and the bus tours and whatever other assorted nonsense that he gets into this offseason. But I just want to wish him luck. I hope there's a lot of DJ Chark going on, because outside of that, there ain't a whole lot there.
Hold on. They talking to me in my ear. People upstairs. Okay. All right, my bad. All right. They was just saying, hey, at least Jacksonville know how to get themselves in the news, because they ain't winning much. But look, listen. I think as far as the question go, is Leonard Fournette, it's not even close. Ngakoue, he made it clear. He wanted out. He took a pay cut. It's not, the most impactful move was Fournette, because for the most part, we thought that Fournette, he wanted to be there. It was nothing that really made me think that he didn't want to be there. I for one, did agree with Jacksonville when they did not pick up his fifth-year option. I did agree with that. But by large, I think Leonard Fournette wanted to be there. Now, I want to say this about this whole tanking for Trevor Lawrence thing. Shall I say Eli Manning, or shall I say John Elway? You keep messing around, Jacksonville, like people ain't paying you some attention out here and seeing how terrible you are at the top. And I guarantee you do get a chance to get Trevor Lawrence. He might mess around and say he ain't coming. We done seen this. The quarterback position has set a precedent. If a team is just that terrible ran, and they have good, if a player has a good advisor advising them, don't be surprised if Jacksonville has the top pick or something, and then Trevor Lawrence like, nope, I ain't doing it. Don't draft it. I ain't doing it. Because this has happened. It has happened before. So let's be careful with this tanking ordeal to the furthest of the furthest. Got it. You're not that good. You're going to lose games. I'm not worried about that. But when you're doing the moves that you've been making in these past years, like, this ain't going to cut it. And if I'm Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields, for that fact of the matter, and or what's the guy, Trey Lance, if I'm in one of those three guys and I'm at the top of the draft, you might get, you might get the old Heisman on. I don't know. Might go play baseball or hacky sack or something. I'll come back next year. I don't know. But that's one thing I look at when I see that, teams possibly tank it. Because I hate the notion that everybody assumes that Trevor Lawrence would be the consensus number one pick. Because our next subject, when we get our next subject, that will show the impact for Justin Fields, because I think Justin Fields did have a pretty good chance of being taken first off the board. But if he don't play and Trevor Lawrence do, then that is what it is. But with all of that said, you know what time it is. And before I turn it over to Cody, I just want to say, Duval.
Man has this popcorn. Guys, we talk about these guys a lot. With the trades, Ngakoue, again, we saw it coming. There was no No doubt about it. It seemed like in the last couple of weeks that he was so adamant about not playing, he just wasn't going to play. Like he was going to literally force their hand the entire season. And that idea, well, play like a couple games, you'll trade a midseason for some more value. That wasn't going to happen. Like he was not showing up to work anymore. Again, he took a $6 million pay cut on a fully guaranteed contract to get out of here. So I get it. You know, you could say, well, a second-round pick and a fifth-round pick, yeah, that's not so bad. But Ngakoue was a high third-round pick. So you essentially traded just a little bit up the value chart to roll your money back in and try again. That's like winning $1 million lottery ticket and then spending $970,000 on lottery tickets, like hoping to do it again. Like what on earth? Who does that? Like it's not – like the picks are not even as good as you wanted to begin with. And then, you know, Minnesota's picking the back half of this draft, and they could be in the NFC Championship this year. So it's not going to be a high second-round pick. And unless they're winning the Super Bowl, that fifth-round pick is going to stay in the fourth or fifth round. So it is what it is. You know, Fournette, it really speaks to how bizarre this team has ran. And you can look at any decision over the last 4 or 5 years. The Jaguars always do the most bizarre things at the most bizarre times. And the Fournette thing, yeah, he was being dangled in trade talks. You know, it was open that the team probably wasn't going to re-sign him. Okay, so what? You give him 300 carries this year. You run his wheels off. You say, thanks for the service, man. Have a good one. And you let him go. But 2 weeks before the season, so you let him take all the first-team snaps in training camp. All the beat writers have said he's looked great. He's been fast. He's in great shape. He's taken all the first-team reps. So you go all of training camp. And then you boot him off after training camp. You screw him out of looking for another team, and you screw yourself out of giving your rookies and basically all your rookies, that's all you really have besides Chris Thompson, who's a third down back. And you go, oh, well, yep, good luck. It's such a brash tanking move. It really is surprising that even they would be this bold about it. The man acquired 1,600 yards last year. He was sixth in the NFL in total yards, and he missed a game. If he would have had that game and had a good one, he may have been as high as second. He wasn't catching McCaffrey. Nobody was. But he could have been second in the league in total yards. And you couldn't get a single pick for him? A seventh-round flyer on a contender? No. That's not how that works at all. Sorry. He will be signed by the end of this week, and it'll be a pretty nice little – it won't be a great contract. He did clear waivers, but it's going to be a nice little contract for a year. But this theme, it pushes so much further. You know, you're talking about these players that are forcing their way out. Ngakoue taking huge pay cuts. Jalen Ramsey faking injuries. Allen Robinson just straight up said, nah, I'm going to go sign somewhere else for less money. I don't want to play for y'all. I'm sorry. That just sounds terrible. The Jaguars owner, Shad Khan, is 40-91 in his tenure here. Robert Kraft could lose every game he has for the next 14 seasons, and he'd have a better win percentage than Shad Khan currently does with this franchise. And he's not hands-on. He's phoned it in from the start. And he's letting Dave Caldwell and Doug Marrone just do whatever they want. You know, go 6-10 after your big year. Well, that's not good enough. Go 5-11. That's fine. That'll work. It's baffling. This team mistreats their players, like literally with the Tom Coughlin and the AP Players Association stuff, but just how they treat their players. Even this little thing, Fournette just gets released 2 weeks for the season. People remember those things. They remember how you treat your players. Last thing I'll leave it on. Dave Caldwell's 5 first-round picks that he's picked the first 5 he made have all been traded or released. The only one he paid was Blake Bortles, and he ate 2/3 of that contract in dead money. Taven Bryan, 2018's first-round pick, already appears to be a bust. Josh Allen, so far, looks like the only good one of the bunch. That was his last one. That's because you get the draft behind the Giants and Raiders. Sometimes good things happen. You had 6 Pro Bowlers on that 2017 team, and overall, 12 players of that team remain, and none of those Pro Bowlers were re-signed. And hey, I could be optimistic. $83 million in cap in 21, 11 more first-round or 11 more picks, 2 in the first round, 2 in the second. But the same people are going to run the rebuild. So what are you going to expect besides more losing? If I'm Trevor Lawrence, I ain't coming here. That's simple.